Birds. It sounds like in a bird sanctuary, Billy. How are you this morning? We're talking about the property market going up even more. Is it possible? And the history of property. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about it now.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Oh, Billy, where are you?
I am in a bird sanctuary. I'm in Narrabeen this morning, everyone.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful place.
It's incredible. How can it be so
Yeah.
noisy?
Well, there's a lot of birds out here. I'll give you a pan around.
I wouldn't be
Trees.
able to imagine waking up to that every day. It's some people's dream and some people's nightmare.
Yeah, it depends on what sound you like waking up to, I guess. But it sounds like we could be in the rainforest.
Now, Billy, we wanted to speak about this a couple of times now, and you have not been in the property market for a long time due to your age. Can you believe, or are you a believer of what property's going to do when you see the growth charts that we're showing today?
I think seeing anything double in 10 years is pretty remarkable. It's really hard to imagine $1 million go to $2 million in the space of 10 years. And that's the way it has always been over the last 40 years. And, that's the most reliable data we've got to say what the next 40 years is going to be like. But what's interesting is despite whatever happens in life, it always seems to find a way to correct itself and then go back on trend. So really, really interesting.
So what we're looking at here is the northern beaches. There's 105,000 homes on the northern beaches. And what we've done is every single time that a property sells, it gets logged. It gets logged with Land Titles Office. Stamp duty gets paid. That data becomes available, and RP data reports it to us real estate agents. We've then grabbed that information over a 40-year period. So, hundreds of thousands of transactions, probably a million transactions over that period, and then we've
Yeah.
logged it in this in here. So the yellow part is how houses have performed. The blue part is how units have performed, and I think it solves a pretty good argument of do houses perform better than units in terms of capital growth. You can see they really do follow each other.
Yeah, it's amazing. So the big sort of spike and the big sort of drop off most recently, that's some of the strongest growth we've ever recorded on a sort of calendar year. That was a reflection of COVID. It was a reflection of people really, really, just spending and buying, and not a lot of stock coming on. And then the market corrected itself, and that's now been over the last 24 months. And even this year, the market's come back up in a positive direction. So that's the most recent sort of big spike you can see at the end of that chart.
And I think people out there, what you got to remember is over this period, we've had everything. We've had wars, we've had recessions, we've had GFCs, we've had COVIDs, we've had it's been fairly throttled. The human race has sort of gone through its highs and its lows, and the property market still performs. And a lovely thing here. And I want if anyone ever gets a chance, watch. I think it's on YouTube as well as Netflix. Is it on Netflix? Anyway, Becoming Warren Buffett. That law of compounding is so important that if you just remember with property, you can put in a little to make a lot. You can partnership with your bank and they will actually make up the difference, and you can keep that rent and you can keep that capital growth of the entire amount. It's very hard to do that with stocks, and it's very hard to do that with Bitcoin or whatever that may be. But they will match you the banks will match your dollar 5 times to 1, which is very, very unique, and our banking system is excellent. So I am really optimistic that we've learnt a lot, particularly the last 5 years, that and we've displayed to the foreign markets that we're a good, safe market, with property, and it's just going to keep doing well.
So over your career, you've watched it double, you've watched it double again. Is there a one sentence you can break it down into, say that's the reason?
That one sentence would be scarcity.
Lack of stock, lack of new property.
Yeah. I think lack of land. And I think that scarcity always can, it values things higher when it's hard to reproduce than when it is scarce. And that's the biggest reason I think property does well.
Yeah, and I think when you look at what happens over the next 10 years, yes, there's new property coming into the market. Yes, there are new developments going up, spaces like DY, exciting times, but there's nowhere near the amount of property needed to change those prices, for one, and for second, the amount of immigration we've got coming in, skilled workers, making really great contribution, often on good money as well, bringing that into the country. Everyone wants to be living in the same pockets of space. I think that's where obviously it's possible to see these prices double again.
And that's the parts of Australia that I've seen that haven't had as well, haven't performed as well with capital growth. They're the ones that don't have that scarcity. So what I like about Sydney, in particular pockets of Sydney, it's just so hard to replicate more of that stock. So I do really, really like Northern Beaches as an example, eastern suburbs as an example, because it's just really, really hard to replicate stock. So I think to insulate or galvanise capital growth, scarcity is a great one.
Now, how does the property double over 10 years? Is it 10% a year? Is it a big spike and a big correction, another big spike, like what we've seen recently? Because this is the biggest correction and the strongest growth we've ever seen. So is it going to be a different way it doubles, do you think, the next 10 years?
Oh, look, there's been that chart that's on your screen appears that it's the biggest correction we've ever had, but it's actually not. It's only because of the way it starts to normalize as the period gets longer on your chart. So it's only because it's the most recent period it looks the most drastic with growth and with correction. But if you go back every 10 years, there's normally some wonderful growth over about a 5-year period. And there's normally a correction for a few, 1 or 2 year period. But overall, yes, she's doubling every 10 years, the property market.
Does it scare you, the correction we've had?
Yeah, it does. You don't know the end of it. But it's as much as it scares you when that sort of happens to us as agents, you just do what you have to do, and it's a bit like when the market performs well. So you sort of get kicked up the arse, and then you get patted on the head with the property market.
So where are we now? We're getting patted back a bit now.
Yep, we got kicked up the arse, and we're back out of that correction market. I would be. To see it correct again, I'd be pretty surprised. I think it's just going to be nice gradual capital growth we're building to our property markets for the next, good 3 years, I reckon.
Yeah, well, what's interesting?
It's all about funding.
No one's talking about it is since the beginning of January this year, DY has done close to 10% on units. So everyone was still sort of trying to pick the bottom of the market. Some buyers missed it. and it's actually come the other way now because there's such limited stock. 490 properties on realestate.com. You know, that's a 4-month low we've seen since the beginning of the year. It's probably not going to return to anything similar at its peak of about 750 properties this year until we get into maybe February next year. So there's still a very limited amount of stock on the market.
It's interesting what you said about people they've missed the bottom of the property market, but I think, you know, that really could be a reality. Hey, they thought it was going to correct. I think there's a lot of opportunists out there with the interest rate rise going, oh my God, this is going to be unbelievable, great. But then the market started doing better when the interest rates kept going up. It's weird.
It's a bit, it is a bit counterintuitive. But you just mentioned, you know, I think the biggest contributor to all this, the funding, is just not there with rates going up. People are holding their property, they're staying put because they can't maybe make the move they once could. So we had Zach from Shore Financial into our office explain that for every 1% change in the cash rate, it's 10% off your borrowing capacity. So there were buyers out there maybe looking to make a move for $1 million. They left it, the rates changed by 1%, and all of a sudden they can borrow, you know, 800,000-900,000. Property wasn't there for them to buy anymore. So I think, you know, people had that hesitation to move.
Well, yeah, people are getting re-rated, aren't they? You know what I mean? So that re-rating, you know, people have 90-day loans, and if they're getting re-rated on the new interest rate, they're getting less money. But I think a lot of people are frozen into their property, and they just don't want to. They're just like, you know what? We're just going to double down where we are, work hard on paying the mortgage. I was at a Christmas party yesterday having a chat to a couple of real estate agents, and we're all sitting there going, we can't believe the ability for people to just, you know, keep paying. So people have obviously got good savings, good jobs out there to continue this. But 2024 is going to be a really interesting year for property.
Yeah, it sure will. I think we're going to see more growth.
How much?
I couldn't put a number on it. I heard Lisa saying 10 to 20% yesterday. I think that might be ambitious at the top end of that range. But the good news is rates are looking to hold and stabilize towards the end of next year. That, as a landlord, as a homeowner, and as a buyer and as an investor, all packaged up into one. Next year, I'm looking to buy another property, and if rates hold, it's only going to make it easier.
Boom.
There you go. Have a good day, guys.
Have a great day, everyone. Less traffic on the roads, which is good. Christmas is here. Merry Christmas.
It's exciting. One more sleep.
Yeah.
One more weekend sleep.
Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. Take care, Billy. Thank you. Hope
See ya.
this helped everyone. See ya. Bye.